Before coming to Gdańsk, I heard the Tri-City area was the best in Poland. Does it live up to the hype? Let's find out. Hi, what's up everybody? I'm here with my friend,
Hi.
Magdalena. Have you eaten today yet?
No.
This is where you want to go when you come to Żabka. They have a lot of pre-made food already that's actually surprisingly very good. These puddings is like my favorite. I freaking love this. And you get some drinks as well. What are you in the mood for? What do you want to eat?
Churros.
I'm down to try this. I haven't tried this yet. Why are these churros so freaking good?
They're super crispy. Salted caramel as well.
Wow, churros are so good. First off, I want to say Gdańsk is a beautiful city. It's probably on par with some of the other big cities like Krakow and Warsaw. First thing that I noticed is that maybe it's just a season or because the weekend was a holiday or something. When I went on booking.com, everything was like 100, 150. It was extremely expensive. And I was able to find something for around 60 euros a night, which to me, for what that was a little expensive. The vibe of the Tri-City area is fantastic. Because it's so close to the ocean, the weather is amazing. It's not too hot, and I hear during the winter it doesn't get too cold either. So the ocean better manages the weather, and because of that, there's not a lot of pollution in the air either. When I'm in Krakow, yes, the air pollution is really bad, but here in Gdańsk, it's definitely a lot fresher, especially if you go up in the hills. If you go to Gdynia, where it's a lot closer to the forest, the air is amazing. The way that the buildings are set up, a lot of the architecture reminds me a lot of the traditional, like the 13 states along the East Coast, college towns, those kind of vibes. But it's not super beachy like Los Angeles or something like that. That has more of like a surfer vibe. It's more of just like a city with a lot of trees everywhere, but it happens to be next to the water as well. You won't believe it. I'm walking around in the mall. They're playing K-pop on the music. That's crazy to me. Why is K-pop so big here?
Polish women like guys that have interests or hobbies. So when a guy can play piano, for example, or dance, or do anything.
And intelligence is very valuable too, right? Yeah.
It's really attractive.
Architecture is a lot different to all of the other cities that I've been to, because it seems like the architecture is quite German, but also there's a lot of Scandinavian influence as well. It feels like there's a lot of old money here. Because of that, there's not a lot of big residential buildings, but there's more homes. A lot of single family homes, a lot of these homes with beautiful architecture, beautiful designs that look like they have been around here for maybe 100 years plus. Another thing that I noticed as well is that there seems to be a lot of cathedrals and churches around here.
There's Dwór which is the most expensive building in Gdańsk, the most well preserved during the war. If you see there's some windows. There's a certain day that lady comes up dressed up really well, like in monarchy gown, and she looks for her husband, because there was a legend. There was this girl who always looked through her window waiting for her husband who came back from war.
And this is the Neptune statue. So walking out of the old town, it looks super renovated like Warsaw. A lot of it was destroyed in which war? In World War II?
Yeah.
In World War II. It doesn't hit the same as Krakow because it doesn't have the same history, because all of the buildings look really well maintained and new. Right now we're walking next to the river, and it's really interesting seeing the difference between, like, here's the old town, and then you have all these new buildings that are super expensive. You said that, how much did they cost?
Around 25 million. The whole building is one apartment.
wait, that one?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's awesome. Right here next to the river, it feels like I'm in Amsterdam. We have the sea here in Gdańsk, but you also have the river. And I imagine when the weather's colder, it must be very, very lovely. So walking around, it also reminds me a lot of Copenhagen. It's a very similar architecture and structure to the colored buildings, and then right next to the water. I would say that the vibe is very, very similar. I think one of the nicest parts of this city, though, is how close it is to nature. You pretty much have everything. You have access to the beach, to the water if you want. You also have some mountains to climb. You have a lot of trees everywhere. There's a lot to love about the city if you're a nature lover. And because most of it is flat, a lot of it is accessible by bikes. What park are we in right now? Where are we walking?
Olivski.
So it's like Olive Park, right? Look at that garden right there. Wow. I'm climbing up this viewpoint right now where it's like a cross on a hill. There you go. We have arrived at the top of the hill. The climb wasn't too bad. It's only like 5 minutes uphill. And here you get a beautiful view of the whole entire city of Gdańsk. Look at all of those cranes. You can tell it's a harbor city because of that.
Gdańsk is the most liberal city of all of Poland. People are less work-oriented, more chill. People express themselves freely. They don't have any boundaries blocking them from expressing themselves, basically. Accepting city to foreigners or LGBT. Never had any problems with, for example, Pride Month and Pride Parade.
You guys have that here?
Yeah.
No way.
Every June. In Warsaw and Gdańsk it's okay, but if you go to cities like, I don't know, Białystok, which is basically in the east, people are really close-minded there and they protest. A few of nationalists were throwing rocks at women and children.
Gdańsk has some really amazing restaurants too. You can find restaurants of all kinds, a lot of Asian food here, just because there's a lot of tourists and there's a lot of foreigners around here. Zurich is freaking fantastic. I love this soup. It is so good. Oh, you can film me actually.
Yeah.
So we're at this dumpling place called Mandu.
Yeah.
Is it dumplings? Yeah, you can say dumplings,
yeah.
right? Gdańsk is nice. It's not quite my vibe, but it's a nice place to visit. I think the people have been quite nice so far, except for that girl in the Żabka who's just not having it. Yum, 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 yum. You got the sweet one, right?
Yep.
They're some of the best sweet dumplings I've ever had in my life. These ones are nice, just like regular pot stickers. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this a 9. Scale of 1 to 10, I would give this an 8. And that strawberry lemonade was like a 10 out of 10. Okay, so we're currently in a mall area called The Forum. Everything's closed right now, but this area is actually really nice because it's like a nice big courtyard with a bunch of shops. You have the building right behind here with the huge lion at the corner, which is very nice. The architecture is very beautiful, and that seems to be a very common trend between Gdańsk and just the Tri-City area in general. It's like you have a lot of old architecture that reminds you of like a port and stuff, but then it's right next to this beautiful new architecture as well. It's a nice balance. And the girls in the Tri-City area are very, very attractive. I have to say, some of the best in Poland. Yes, really, really, really. Hey, who do you think you are? For some reason, everywhere you look, there are just really attractive women everywhere, and they are like the thicker kind of woman, which is something that I more like. Just the average girl that you're gonna find on the street, even the ones that are working in Żabka, are all really beautiful. Yeah, you heard it here first. Tri-City area for me has the most beautiful Polish women. So I'm actually a really big fan of Gdańsk as a city. Even though it's not necessarily a place that I would live, I think this is a nice place to visit. Out of all the cities here in the Tri-City area, my favorite was actually Gdynia. I prefer living in a smaller city. I think Gdańsk is awesome, but it still feels a bit too touristy and like a little bit too much business here, whereas Gdynia felt a lot slower paced and definitely a little more to what I'm looking for. On a scale of 1 to 10, I have to give Gdańsk, I would say like 8 out of 10. It's not the most amazing city that I've been to, and I don't know, it's just I don't feel like the vibe here really connects with me. It's the same way as like a place like Krakow. I still think I would rather live in Krakow than living here. I can understand why people would want to live here. The vibe, the people are a lot more liberal, there's a lot of things to do, and the beautiful weather, all that put together makes this a really amazing city. I highly recommend that you guys watch this video next. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Peace.